maybe start counting now. It's just
what a professional way to start the show. I give him a countdown and have done for 314, give or take, episodes. But here we are. It's a 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
Yes, the Wall 77 Club on Facebook, Instagram. We are at 77 Club Podcast on X.com. We're on all the good podcast platforms. Please follow us and subscribe on YouTube.
And some of the bad ones too. Jack Williams is here.
Hi, everybody.
Right, well, we got a lot to get through tonight, so do bear with us. I think we called one of the episodes, or said one of the episodes a couple of weeks ago was like therapy. I don't know what this is going to be, but let's do it together. Harry, we're going to start with the League Cup loss to Chelsea. It was what seems a lifetime ago, Wednesday, the 29th of October. We obviously the podcast episode before that on the Monday night because we were so angry following the game in the Premier League. That was Burnley, that's it. Yeah, they all fade into one sorry mess. This seems to me like it was a real opportunity to get into a cup quarter-final and therefore recognise my earlier season prediction of getting to the quarter-final of the League Cup, but it wasn't to be. Jose Sarr in goal, Doherty, Mosquera, Totti Gomez, Muller, Wolfer, Agbadu, Tachua, Lopez, João Gomez, Hwang Hee-chan and Arokadare. So Tolu starting up front by himself. I think we spent quite a long time trying to work out who was playing where. We had 6 defenders on the pitch.
He should have been sacked. He should have been sacked for that lineup. Never mind after Fulham. Agbadu in centre midfield. To be fair to him, we got 2 assists on the day, but one of the most craziest lineups I've ever seen. Good idea sending Tommy Doyle on loan to Blues, wasn't it? When you got to play a centre half in midfield. But absolutely ridiculous starting lineup, and we got punished accordingly, going 3-0 down. And then what really frustrated me, I know we're not going to talk about it too much, was how excited everyone got about the comeback. I thought we were 3-0 down. If Chelsea had won it, like they didn't give a shit. So I was not that excited after the comeback. It gave me a little bit of confidence going into Fulham, but it papered over cracks. It was nice to see Muller Wolf get a few goals because we were talking about him having to make a wish and things like that, weren't we, on the last podcast, that his parents turned up, so you've got to play him. But no, he was probably the man of the match. But yeah, like I say, Vitor Pereira should have been sacked before the game even started once that team got announced against Chelsea in the Cup.
11 changes, Jack, pretty much unforgivable in my opinion. And when you looked at that Chelsea side, so young, only a couple of players that I even recognise in that starting 11, but it just went from bad to worse.
An opportunity, wasn't it, really, on paper when we saw the Chelsea team? Because, like you say, it was the massive changes from them as well. But obviously, on paper, we did the same. And you just think, well, what's going on here? It's last days of Rome stuff, in it. And we've said for a few weeks now that Vitor's lost the plot, and his team selections, his substitutions have just been proving it, really. And the funny thing is like, what are you going to do? Are we going to start 6 defenders? Okay, 3-0 down at half time, playing 6 defenders. Like, you can't make it up, can you? Bloody all over the shop. It was just embarrassing every time they looked like they were going forward. At first, they were going to score, and we were just all over the place. So I know we came back a bit in the second half, and it was entertaining, it was exciting, but there's just the quality on show from us, just particularly defensively, just a shambles, really. And it was an opportunity to progress in a cup competition, which I know the league is more important. And if we were sat here now saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter, we got knocked out," because at least we turned up at Fulham on Saturday, then you might be able to just take it a little bit better. But it's just been a shambolic few weeks, few days, but just so much like convinced the guy doesn't know his best team and just lost the dressing room completely, and it's just showing. So yeah, there's not much to talk about with the League Cup. I think we should probably move on to the bloody whatever's happened afterwards, really, in the last few days.
Not much.
Well, let's start with Fulham. Harry, I really didn't get the starting 11 for this one. Obviously, Ranga changed again. Sam Johnson back in goal. Hoover starting right wing back, we reckon. You got Santi in there, Agbadu, Totti Gomez, Hugo Bueno, Bellegarde, Krejci in midfield, Manetzi, Strand Larsen and Arias. Just talk me through what you were thinking when you saw that.
Again, well, the team got leaked early, didn't it? Very early Saturday morning. It got leaked that, I think it might have been Friday night, actually, that Andre and Gomez are going to get dropped. And I thought to myself, if that's true, again, just like I just said, he should be sacked before kickoff. So he clearly fell out with definitely Andre. He clearly fell out with him. Something had gone on, and maybe a few other players. And I just thought, well, if he's starting that team, we've got to win now, because whatever happens, if we don't win, he's probably going to get sacked, because that starting lineup was atrocious, to say the least. And the performance was awful. And I've really praised Santi this season. I think he's had a really good surge into the first team, especially when he's playing a 4-3-3. But he was at fault for that first goal for me. And once that goes in, the confidence, if there was any, it didn't look like there was any, just completely drained out of us. And I know the red card probably did have a big impact, but even before the red card, there was only one winner in that game for me. We were all over the place. Even Johnston for the first goal probably should have saved it, should have done better. So that's both our keepers that are a pile of shit now. But yeah, Vitor, he's just, it was almost as if he just put out the team to try and get sacked. And that's how bad it was. And again, he must have like an affair going on with Hoover. He must have been, because no Wolves fan would have started Hoover against Burnley, against Fulham. I didn't get it at all. And yeah, just Arias again. He was like a ghost, like Casper the Ghost on the pitch. Didn't even know he was there. And atrocious. He deserved to be sacked. He should have got sacked as soon as the final whistle went. And I just don't get what I'd love to be a fly on the wall and know what happened with Andre and Gomez, because definitely fell out of them, in my opinion.
Jack, why are we in a situation where we're doing so badly and we start a game away to Fulham, which is a place where we actually won at last year under Gary O'Neill, and there's 2 Brazilian internationals on the bench? Can you explain to me why that's the case?
Because he's just lost the dressing room and hasn't got a clue. I mean, the funny thing about it is we were looking at that game thinking, oh, hang on, Fulham have lost 4 in a row here. So, you know, it's one of those where you should be thinking on paper, but it doesn't matter. We're getting beaten by the teams who are just a couple of spots above us in the league. And it's an absolute shambles, really. It's depressing. Team selections, again, just all over the place. And really, I even think, you look at the sending off, but we'd have lost that game without the sending off. We'd have a shot. Like, did we? There's not an actual decent chance that we created that I can remember. I know it's more difficult with 10 men, but at certain points it was just like we were just, you know, running around chasing the ball, trying to get to full time, even though we're 3-0 down. There was just nothing there. And then when you finally do get a chance, like a good set piece or something, it's just so wasteful. Like, I don't know what they're doing. There was one occasion where it ended up back at the keeper, and we're thinking, like, just put the ball in the box, because we need to try and find a goal from somewhere. And everyone seems low on confidence. They don't know what their jobs are. It's completely all over the place. I have sympathy with Vitor for the fact that he's had his best players taken from him in the closed season, and they've not been replaced with the same quality. But at the same time, we should be performing better and at least putting up more of a fight than we are, because if we're just going to teams who are on a bit of a bad run or aren't doing that well this season themselves, and we're not even putting up a fight. Like, we didn't put up a fight in that game at all. Some of the games this season, you can say we've been unlucky, and that we've had late goals that have cost us, and you put your hands up and say, okay, just unfortunate, but it's happening far too often. Like, everyone's just all over the place. He doesn't know his best team. The fans don't understand his team selections, because we're looking at that thinking, like, why is he starting these players? Why is he doing this? We're creating nothing. Everyone's low on confidence. It's just it's just embarrassing, really, considering that, what is this, 6-7 years in the Premier League now? And we're just, at the moment, just like we're going to go out on a whimper. And after how much effort we put in and how many years we had away to get to this sort of established Premier League level, to go down in this fashion, it's an embarrassment for everybody. And the board, the club, the players, the manager should all be ashamed of themselves.
It's travesty. I can't agree more with that assessment. Harry, if we take the red card, and I thought we improved after Agbadu went off, or was sent off anyway, because he is just, what a drop off. I know we said it so much this season, but honestly, what is he doing in that situation?
Well, first of all, look, it was handball, but still, he didn't know that. It was handball. It should have been overturned. Weird. But he didn't know that at the time, Agbadu. And yeah, so clumsy. And he just got up and he looked bewildered, but it's just him in a nutshell, isn't it? Do you know what? Like I said, he did okay against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, but he just shouldn't be starting. And I just can't believe the drop off in him. But I don't know. Like, obviously, we'll talk about new managers, whether they're starting. Obviously, he's banned for Chelsea, but I just don't know what his future is. He's just, I think every single game, bar a couple. I'm talking in the league here. He's made a mistake nearly every game, hasn't he? That he's started in. Like that's why he got dropped, obviously. And the confidence when he's that bad and vulnerable, it just makes all the other players worry around him, and then they start playing worse. So clumsy, and it was a red card. But I thought it was a red card at the time. But then when I seen the replay, it should have been overruled for a handball. But as we know, VAR's shite.
Agree. And obviously, I was sat behind the away dugout, and to be fair to the bench, as in this is players I'm talking about now, they do still look like they care. They didn't look dejected, and it was quite funny at one point. Hwang had noticed something was going on the pitch and like pointed out and said that player needs to go there, players need to go there, and then Luis Miguel gave that to Vitor, and then Vitor made a slight change. So you're thinking, okay, well, who's running the team here? But that's the bench, the away bench. Jack, you were in the away end, and I'd love to know what it was like in there, because I think the fans are so fed up that and we had it against Burnley in the Premier League game before this one, where it was the repertoire of songs for the old players. All the greatest hits were coming out. Raul was almost crying, I think, at one point, and it was applauding the fans during the game when they were singing his name. What was it like in the away end?
To be honest, it was hilarious in a really tragic and pathetic way, I think is the best way of summing it up. Like there was a lot of laughs in there, a lot of smiles, but obviously what we were being shown on the pitch was just embarrassing, really. So the only thing you can do in that situation is try and make the best of a bad situation. And you know, it must be bad for the players, really, when you're thinking there's no chance of us singing any of your names. We're going to go through the record books and the history of players from the better times. And it was just funny, really. There was like Patrick Catrone came up for a bit, which was just a Turin nod, which was just,
you know what was funny?
Very funny.
Obviously, you and Sam were there, so you won't know this. But on the very legal stream I was watching, the woman commentator was like, "You've got to give credit to these Wolves fans. They're not letting it get to them. They're still back in the team." Obviously, she don't realise that all the Wolves fans are singing old songs and ironically singing. It was just hilarious to watch. But Sam, on you as well. Where were the selfies this year? Last year you had selfies with Cunha. The year before Diego Costa.
I did fist bump mascara. So that's probably why he went on to score an own goal, because I shook Cunha's hand last year.
Did you fancy a selfie? Did you say, "Oh, Hwang, get up"? You had a selfie with Cunha.
I wasn't in the mood, Harry. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, and it's like little posh kids around me as well celebrating. It's like, my favourite player. My favourite player is Kevin. I'm like, what sort of name is Kevin? Honestly,
he was good.
Yeah. Well, they're all bloody good. That was a problem, wasn't it? You know, Alex Iwobi always turns into prime Kaka whenever we seem to play against him. There's a couple of comments about Sam Johnston, Harry. I was singing his praises earlier on this season. I think I'm coming round to the idea that we have shit keepers.
Well, yeah, he was in great form at one point, wasn't he? Pulling off worldy saves, and then all of a sudden he's turned into Jose Sarr 2.0 again. So I don't know. Sarr was awful against Chelsea in the Cup, so they're both as bad as each other at the moment. But it's hard for Johnston, because when you've got that defence in front of you, you know what I mean? He's going to have shots peppered at him, but he should have done better for that first one. Do you know what? I can't even remember. The one was a worldie, when it Wilson. Great finish, bottom corner. The last one, just couldn't do much about it, I guess. But the first one, he was at fault. But I don't know. What would you do? Put Bentley in? He's probably worse than both of them combined.
We could put all three of them in together. We'd still be shocking. So
I can put you in goal, Sam. May as well.
That's it. Yeah, may as well. Nick has got a comment here that I'm going to bring Jack in on, because I'd love to know Jack's thoughts as the chairman of the Strand Larsen Appreciation Club. Thoughts on Larsen? Looks well off it. Starting to think his run of form last year was a one-off. No consistency in scoring or creating.
again, it seems like there's been a drop off in half the squad, so it's not just him. Mentally, I think he probably wants to be at Newcastle, and I can't blame him because all that stuff probably unsettled him, carrying an injury as well. But I agree, he's just been woeful, really. On the when he came on against West Ham in the League Cup, and we thought, oh bloody hell, at least we still got Larson because he can come on and score 2 goals in 10 minutes, so at least we've got a bit of hope. But since then, it's just been the same as the rest of the team. Really, it just looks like he can't hold up the ball, he can't pass the ball, he can't shoot.
He could have scored. Remember that one?
Yeah, off Hoover.
Yeah, like he put it across the 6-yard box. It's a tap in. He missed it. Well, he was at full stretch, really, but he's got to be anticipating that and putting that away. Right at the end of the first half, when it would have gone in 1-1 with 10 men, but he should have scored that, Larson.
Still with these says Arias isn't helping Strand Larson. I think it's a good point, isn't it, Jack? There is a little bit of not really getting on to the end of things and the hunger that you need to be a striker or a poacher in the box and getting those balls that do flash across goal. But the service isn't there.
Arias in general, like I said a few times, I've never seen a player come in with so much hype. He was probably the one that we signed in the close season when you're thinking, coming off the back, everyone said he was team of the Club World Cup. You think this is an absolute steal. Their fans were gutted to see him leave, and he just he could be anybody, this person. I don't know who he is. I don't know his identity on the football pitch. Know nothing about him. He can't beat a man. He can't put a ball in. I don't know what his point is, really. I just don't understand whether he's been played in the wrong position or what, maybe, but I just don't get it. But again, it's a theme throughout the team, isn't it? Who's come in this season, either come in fresh or came from last season who is still performing at a decent level? None of them. But I don't think there's anyone who particularly stands out. The players who have done all right are the ones who were sort of on the fringes. You mentioned Breno already. I think overall, yeah, he's done well. And Craigie is the only new player who's come in and actually looks arsed. And apart from that, he's really, really struggling. But I think it goes back to leadership. It goes back to morale in the dressing room. Goes back to not knowing your best team. If there's fallings outs going on. And that's why they've had to roll the dice. I have some sympathy for Vitor because it's difficult to expect to sell your best players and then come on and still perform at the same level and progress. It's not going to happen, but that's the model Fosun had been employing. Eventually, we're going to get found out, but I didn't think it would be in this bad a fashion. I didn't think we just wouldn't be competing. Because at the moment, even Derby's 11-point total seems like a mile away. So they had to roll the dice, but who's actually going to want to come here with seeing everything that's going on and the buy to sell and the fact that every manager comes in, has a good few months and then gets kicked out a bit later because they've sold all the people who've got them to that position. But it's just a mess from top to bottom. And I honestly just think that the board and Jeff Shee are just like blind to it. They're all, being deliberately blind to it. I don't know. But the one good thing about it is like the fans were, as I said, in the stands, they were still good. And that actually made it an enjoyable experience in the away end because we knew it was terrible. We knew it was shocking. And at some points we were just laughing at some of our passes because they were just so poor. And we genuinely just stood there laughing at our team and we're singing Dicko Afobe Sacco. And but to be fair, way louder than the Fulham fans who then just when they score, they get their clappers out. But one funny bit towards the end, I don't know if you could hear it, but it's like we had a spell of possession because Fulham had given up by then. They'd won the game and we were just singing, we've got the ball. And that just went on for a bit. And then we lost it. It's like, we've lost the ball. That's
the good thing about the away section at any Wolves game, I think, and it doesn't matter what league we're in, it is always like that. And I'm so glad that it's stayed the course and hasn't been taken over by tourist fans or just people with a load of cash. Harry, were you surprised how long it took to sack Vitor? I mean, it was pretty much the morning after that the news came through.
Yeah, well, I thought it would be announced on the night, to be honest. I thought they'd announce it like Saturday night. And then when it got to Sunday morning, I actually made a video on my own channel, like put a bit of effort in, went through all went wrong. And I was like, why hasn't he sacked him? Like I was going in on Jeff Shee and I was just about to press go live and then bang, they announced he had been sacked. But yeah, I'm glad they did it. I genuinely did not think they would. I thought they'd give him Chelsea and then when we inevitably lose that, I thought they'd sack him in the international break and do it then. So I thought they would give him one more game because I'd heard rumours that they said after Burnley, after they had a meeting, they were going to give him 4 games. But after a defeat like that and after he's starting 11 again, you can't survive that, can you? So even as incompetent and crap Jeff Shea is, even he must have realised he had to get rid of him. But I know we're going to get onto it. But the man he wanted to replace him with, I can't believe it. But yeah, I was surprised it took till 11:30 Sunday morning. I thought it'd have been straight away.
The strange thing is, you've mentioned there the man who he took over from. When we look, I think you posted in the group earlier, Harry, last season after 10 matches, bottom of the league with 3 points, Southampton and Ipswich on 4 and 5 points, and Leicester up in 15th on 10, so 10 from 10 games, and got relegated. And obviously we went on the crazy run with the 6 in a row, taking us to the back end of last season. But this year, 2 points, 8 points off safety. I think the axe had to fall. There was an open letter that was sent to Jeff Shea and the board by various fan groups, including ours. I'll just read the open letter to Wolves and Fosun. As long-time supporters of this fantastic football club, we're writing to express our serious concerns about the overall direction and management of Wolverhampton Wanderers, particularly amid the ongoing search for another head coach. Whilst we appreciate the challenges involved in recruitment and the need for stability, we urge you and the board to recognise the strong and widespread opposition of the decisions currently being made across all areas of the club. Many supporters feel that Wolves has lost its ambition, identity and clear sense of purpose, both on and off the pitch. You have already alienated a significant number of loyal supporters who've been priced out and appear to show little care or respect for the fan base. Without swift and meaningful change, you risk further dividing supporters at a time when unity and belief are essential. Under Fosun's early stewardship, the club made great strides in its footballing operations, infrastructure and community connection, progress that made Wolves a model of pride and ambition. Sadly, we are now witnessing decisions that continue to undermine that vital relationship and diminish the standards that once defined the club. As supporters, it feels like Groundhog Day once again. What has happened to us? How has the club declined so much under your stewardship, Jeff? How can the hierarchy repeatedly make the same mistakes and fail to deliver on promises? Why have so many key figures behind the scenes departed without clear explanations? We believe the fans deserve transparency and accountability from the club's leadership through open, honest communication rather than scripted interviews. We call for Zhejiang Chang, chairman of Fosun, to engage directly with supporters and provide clarity about the club's long-term vision and leadership structure. Many no longer feel confident that Jeff Shea is the right person to take this football club forward. The Wolves fan base cares deeply about the club's success. Our loyalty remains for now, but we urge you to listen and respect the voices of supporters during this crucial period. So quite a well-worded letter, I might say. So pat on the back to everybody involved in that. Harry, first of all, how did it come about and what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it was pretty similar to when we last all joined up to do an open letter last year, was it? Or the year before? When the season ticket prices got put up and everyone was going mad.
Yeah.
We did an open letter then, didn't we? And do you know what? There was actually a little bit of success to that, because if you remember, was it the under 14s or the under 12s tickets that they ended up reversing back to their original price because of that open letter and because of the backlash? So when people respond to that open letter you just read out saying it's pointless, what's the point? They don't listen. They do. Like it has actually worked. But at the time we record, I'd say what before that, it come about because all the groups got together again. We got asked if we want to throw our name in. I said yes after reading it. I was like, yeah, spot on. There was discussions whether we should be a bit more harsh, but I thought it was quite well worded, and you don't need to go like too like, you know, they're just going to ignore it if you're too critical and too over the top. But for me, no matter what you put, Jeff Shea will ignore it. He just will. But it's been emailed to all of the Fosun bigwigs as well. It's been emailed to Zhao and people like that. No response at time of recording on this Wednesday night. Whether there's been discussions in the group whether we're going to like repost it again and try and get some kind of contact. I'm not holding my breath, to be honest. But yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that people who keep responding saying it's waste of time, I don't think it is, because mainstream media picked it up. Henry Winter, The Mirror posted it. They spoke about it on TalkSport briefly, I heard. The Guardian did a post on it. So it went mainstream. And obviously because Wolves are a hot topic at the moment with the new manager. And the reason it come about as well, obviously because Jeff Shee's useless, but it was the Gary O'Neill story. It was the fact that they put all their eggs in reappointing the bloke they sacked less than a year ago. And that was the tip of the iceberg, which got, I won't name names, but which got people to create the group again and say, all right, lads, you're all back on board. Should we do another open letter? And that was all Tuesday night. They were going to release it Tuesday night. They released it Wednesday morning because of the big story of Gary O'Neill pulling out Tuesday night. But yeah, what triggered it completely was the fact that we were trying to reappoint the bloke we'd sacked for the same reason, because he couldn't get a win in his first 10 games, 11 months ago. So, well worded letter. I take no credit. Bloody hell, if I'd have wrote it, you wouldn't be able to read it. I can't spell. So I just threw our name in the hat. I thought it was great. And obviously we shared it on our social media along with the 8 other fan groups. So, yeah.
And we don't put our names to things easily, I suppose. We know our audience, we know our podcast audience, and the people that listen to this. Obviously, this episode is brought to you by Caniston. Get rid of your thrush in a rush. Jack, what did you think about the open letter? What were your thoughts on the wording of it? Because as Harry said, it is quite well pinpointed. It didn't mention Gary O'Neill. It wasn't hammering everybody. It was quite well thought out.
I'm probably the one in the group who's always a little bit skeptical about these things, probably more than you two, because I often think, basically, what's the point? But then once I read it, I was like, it's well worded. It hits the nails on the head in a professional way as well. And I think we have to be seen to do something. And the thing is that obviously you said the real trigger for this wasn't the fact that just the results, really. It was the rumours about that Gary O'Neill was seriously being considered for a return.
It was done. It was done, Jack.
Well,
it's only the backlash. It's only because of the backlash on social media that Gary O'Neill pulled out. It was all done. Which is
that's the thing. And the Wolves fans just can't let that happen. But this is how disconnected and out of touch. Because when I first saw that floating around, I was just like, that's some sort of sick joke. Even we're not that stupid. But then obviously it got traction, and you're hearing more and more, and like the usually quite reliable journalists are starting to report on it. And you're just thinking, have they all sat in a room and just thought, how can we piss this lot off more? What's the thing we could do that could make it worse? Who could we get in that would actually wind people up even more? And the funny thing is, even after the Gary O'Neill rumours have fallen by the wayside, suddenly then Bruno Lage's name's appearing, and we're going around in circles again. So I just don't understand what they possibly think, and it all must come down to money.
Yes,
that's it. That's the thing. It doesn't matter about anything now. They probably reside to the fact we're going down. It's who can we get in, who we don't have to pay a release for. If there's already still paying Gary O'Neill's wages for the next few years because he hasn't got a job, can we get him on the cheap? And then they're just putting all their eggs in the basket that he can have the same impact that he did at the start, because they think that's how it works now, because it happens all the time. That's not how management normally works. That's just how it's working at Wolves under Fosun, because of your own decisions from the top, which are putting pressure on everyone. And the fact they're not seeing that and they're ignorant to it, it just, I think they've lost interest, and that there needs to be some key changes and some real things to actually make us all convinced that they still want this football club at all.
It's such a good point. And also, just outside of Fosun being a complete car crash of decisions, what does it say about Gary O'Neill that he would want to come back?
Well, he's desperate for a job, isn't he? He's been twerking on Monday Night Football week after week. He's been doing masterclass YouTube videos. And he was liking tweets a few weeks ago, weren't he? About Wolves fans tweeting him. He was liking them, saying, and they were saying, please come back and that. But I think if the backlash wouldn't have been as bad as it was, he'd be Wolves manager now as we speak, because he's still under contract, isn't he? We're still paying him because we give him a 4-year deal. So it's such a simple thing for Jeff Shee to do. And I don't know how they even got to that logic when Jeff Shee was on a podcast saying in the summer, business sport podcast, that they got rid of him too late last season. So it just baffles me that he was in contention to be the manager again. But nothing surprises me with him at the moment, Jeff Shee.
No. I just, before we move on to who could potentially be the next manager that hasn't already managed the fucking club, do you think that's Vitor done in the Premier League, or do you think he will be back because he says he wants to stay in the Premier League?
I think he obviously wants to come back. I genuinely think that Vitor was really, really happy to be here. And at the start, it was brilliant, wasn't it? It was just so refreshing. The way it came in, changed it, and just made us realise that there was something really wrong with Gary O'Neill. But the thing I just can't get my head around is just the way that this just keeps happening. It's a pattern now that they come in, everything's good, and then something happens, they lose the dressing room. And part of me is thinking it's to do with recruitment, and players are, when they come in, they're being promised the world. They're saying, oh, look, we've got a great squad now. We're really investing. We're going to be playing in Europe if everyone sort of knuckles down. And the reality comes in is that we probably haven't got enough players in good positions. We haven't got enough quality. And you're going to be in a relegation battle every year because anyone who is any good suddenly goes to Man United for 60 or million quid or whatever. And it's not, there's just such lack of ambition. I understand that we don't have the revenues of some of the bigger teams or some of the, some other people, neighbours. But there needs to be a better way to do it than this. There has to be something, because we're going to lose our established Premier League title. And as I said earlier, we're going to go out with a whimper because people are more bothered about balancing the books than actually what's happening on the pitch. And I don't know. And just it's the snowball of everything as well. It's the fact that this has been over the years been coupled with constant ticket rises and them squeezing us for every last penny. And since we've come up, the ticket prices have gone up, the performances in our league position have gone down. So we are paying more, we're getting less, which sounds like the bloody Daily Mail, doesn't it? At the moment, it's like, but
Right, okay. Well, let's have a look at the next manager odds. There's quite a few on the list, but I feel like I have to go to the bottom of it because, Harry, it can't be Mick McCarthy at 66-1, can it?
It can.
There you go. Gareth Southgate and Wayne Rooney are at 50s. Ruud van Nistelrooy 40-1, Frank Lampard 33-1, as is Marco Rose, Craig Bellamy, Vitor Bruno, no idea. Solskjaer is 25-1, so is Ange Postecoglou. Bruno Lage 20-1, Steven Gerrard 18s, João Pereira 16s, as is Kevin Muscat. Sam Allardyce, which has been lighting the comments section on fire tonight, is at 14-1, along with Michael Carrick. Gary O'Neill is still on there at 14-1. Brendan Rodgers at 12-1. Dean Saunders at 7-1.
Where's that come from?
Shut up. That's not real.
I'm not joking.
Shut up.
Rui Vitoria, who I think you put in the group earlier, Harry, 10-3. Robbie Keane at 3-1. Eric Ten Hag at 11-4. But the favourite, as it stands at the moment, is Middlesbrough's Rob Edwards at 15-8.
Well, we know it's going to be Dean Saunders, then, don't we? I'm joking. No. Well, Sam Allardyce was on TalkSport, wasn't he? And he basically said he'd take it because he's a boyhood Wolves fan. But he said he heard that they want a young coach. A lot of Wolves fans want him, but fucking hell, man, that's desperate, isn't it? That's disaster desperation. But would he get a tune out of them? I don't know. He took Leeds down, didn't he? He took Albion down. But he was in the dugout when they beat us 3-2 back in the day under Nuno. But Rob Edwards is a good one because I think it prepares us for the Championship. Like, he's showing at Middlesbrough he's good in that division at the moment. So when we do go down, hopefully they give him the chance to rebuild if he did take us down, which he probably would, which most managers would. But I can't see Jeff wanting to pay the compensation, and there's been no approach yet. He said on Tuesday night after the Middlesbrough game, he's had no approach. The one you mentioned, was it Rui Vitoria, was it, Sam?
Yeah.
At 10-3, his odds have gone right down. He's got no job. He won a couple of titles with Benfica in like 2016, 2017, and he won the cup with Al Nassr, I think. He's a bit basically Vitor Pereira 2.0. It's like reappointed Vitor Pereira, like a different version.
His fucking name.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. Like, everyone's saying Big Sam. He can't be Bruno Lage, my God, for the same reasons of Gary O'Neill. But I don't know. Like, I don't know. And whoever it is going to be, is like we said, it's going to take a miracle, isn't it, to keep us up? And I don't know. I would take Rob Edwards, maybe. I know he's a favourite, and that's easy to say. But Big Sam, he's 71 years of age. Yes, maybe he'd sort our defence out a bit, and he'd shithouse it a bit, and he'd probably play Strand Larsen and Tolo up there and just go 4-4-2 and just be like, fucking whack it.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so I know he's from Dudley and whatever, and he's a Wolves fan. It's thing is with Big Sam, he's not going to stay next year, is he? He's not. He might not still be alive. He's 71 now. So
well, he's doing Uber Eats adverts with Alan Pardew and Tony
exactly. I'd rather have Mick McCarthy. I would rather have Mick McCarthy than Sam Allardyce, and I'm not even joking.
That's a big shout. Let's have a look at some of these comments before we get Jack's opinion. Stu says, I like Rob Edwards, but I'd be happy with Big Sam till the end of the season. At least give Rob a pre-season and a transfer window.
Would he stay at
Neil says,
Middlesbrough? Would he?
Terry Connor, he's the man. Soul back in anyone. Christ. Jack, what do you think, and who would be your heart and your head prediction?
I genuinely don't know why anyone would come who has got a job at the moment. It's my thinking, because you mentioned the likes of, Rob Edwards there, Frank Lampard, people who are doing all right in the Championship. Like, why? So it's just too much risk for them, really. So the only people you're going to be able to attract are people who really want to be in the Premier League or people who haven't got a job. So I think that shrinks your talent pool straight away. So usually
Robbie
the way
Keane?
it goes, and
Robbie Keane,
Robbie
Jack?
Keane-
What do you think of that?
I think
Can he
it's
play up
just
front?
more. It's
Yeah.
more nostalgia. It's more nostalgia than thinking, "Oh, this is a good manager. We can get him for a
Yeah.
Premier League outfit."
I think he did well in Israel. And then did he manage? Is he in Hungary at the moment, or he just left a club in Hungary? Robbie Keane.
don't
So
know.
but he's he's got no pedigree, has he? He's got when Kevin
No.
Muscat dropped off the face of the earth, no one's mentioning that anymore. But yeah, it'd be like a good feel. But then when we realise how shit they are after a few games, it'd be like, we shouldn't have done this. One of them, isn't it?
I think if
Yeah.
it was a traditional club in the Premier League with a lot of Premier League pedigree, but also maybe some English pedigree, bringing someone like Sam Allardyce in would make a little bit of sense, because you think actually he's a bit of a cult hero when it comes to the Premier League. You look at our team, got no English players, apart from Mateus Mane, and he's about 12. No one's going to know who he is. He's not going to have an impact on in the same way. And we haven't got players of Premier League experience that would have been playing when he was managing in the Premier League.
Imagine him trying to communicate with all the Portuguese lads.
Completely pointless. I mean, it would be hilarious.
Oh my God.
Completely pointless.
I genuinely think that he'd probably make us harder to beat, though, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
It takes a terrible football if we can grind out some results, but it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's just be so different to what Fosun have normally gone for in the past. But I think the only way you're going to get somebody in is if you say, "Look, it's a shambles at the moment. You've got to do what you got to do. We'll give you some help in January when we can. The plan is to try and just at least be on the pace by then. If you keep us up, you've got a £5 million bonus, and you don't have to stay. That's it. You can go." That's the only thing that's going to make people actually think about it. And Big Sam is someone who might consider that sort of offer. An extra £5 million for retirement, lots of pints of wine. He'd be fine.
Ten Hag keeps being linked, doesn't he? Like Ten Hag, one article says he don't want it, then it's saying he does. But for me, I know he's had good success probably before Man United, but I don't. It feels like a weird fit. And if we get relegated, which we probably would, he ain't going to stick around, is he? So I think that's why I like the Rob Edwards shout, because you want someone who will be willing to rebuild next season if Fosun is still around as well. But yeah, I don't. Ten Hag don't feel right. That might sound mad. People might be like, "What?" He's he's managed some big clubs, but I just don't like the sound of Ten Hag.
Well, he fell out with the Bods at Leverkusen. What did he do? 2 games or something this season and got the boot.
Yeah.
Recipe for disaster then. But in terms of just a big name, I don't think that we'd be able to get him, to be honest. But if he was actually available and wanted to come, then I'd be happy with that. I mean, what else can you get? Yeah.
Spend £1 billion quid and get a 56% win rate or whatever for Man United.
We shouldn't have given Vitor a new contract, but we should have got rid of him early, because obviously Nuno we could have got. Sean Dye. I think Dye should have always gone to Forest, because obviously I think he lives around there, doesn't he? But I reckon Nuno might have come back if we'd have sacked Vitor when he was available. So we missed the boat on a few. Yeah, true. That's the problem. Is Jeff Shee still here? And I think the fact that Jeff Shee's here and Fosun are here, it probably will put off a lot of managers in general, not just the people who we've had before, because they've seen us selling our best players every season. They've seen the likes of Lopetegui walk out the door because of false promises. We only seem to, Vitor Pereira, he was just desperate to be in the Premier League, wasn't he? So we've got to get a manager. Rob Edwards would probably want it if we did pay the compensation, because of his love for the club. He played for us. He was a caretaker manager at one point, wasn't he? Or an interim manager.
Did his badges here, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. So there's that big connection. I think a lot of his family still live around here as well. So I could see that. He's been very vague. He's been very vague in his interviews and when he's asked about it. But he's just being professional, isn't he? Because he don't want to annoy the Middlesbrough fans. Because if he does end up staying there, you don't want to look a bit of a tit. So he's going about it the right way. But Jeshy's too tight to pay the compensation, probably though. But we'll see.
100%. Lots of people, including Max, saying Zenga. I'm telling you, lads. We have a shout there for Andre Villas-Boas, who I can tell you is because I just googled it, the president of Porto at the moment. So he's not managing anybody at the moment. So shows you his credentials. I think he was a flash in the pan. He came and went, didn't he? Let's move on to Chelsea away.
Yeah.
Chelsea again, Jack. These stats don't make for good reading. I will read them out anyway. After losing 3 consecutive Premier League games against Wolves between April 2023 and February 2024, Chelsea have won both meetings last season with an aggregate score of 9-3. Wolves have just won one of their last 11 Premier League away games against Chelsea, drawing 3, losing 7, picking up a 4-2 victory in February 2024. I mean, where do we begin? We keep saying to people who are usually in disbelief when we say it, when we haven't won since April, and that includes pre-season. But what are you doing for Chelsea? Obviously, Agbadou, thankfully, is not available.
What we're doing for Chelsea, I mean, we're going to be, well, I was going to say headless chicken, but we've been like that all season, really. So we're going to be there with the interim manager in place. So I don't know what we can do, really. It's probably not going to be pretty. I know that Chelsea, they drew today, didn't they, against Karabakh, I think, in Europe. So I suppose they have had a game midweek, but obviously it's be a very different team, I think, at home on Saturday evening. What do you do? I think you just got to go back to basics, man. Pereira's gone, whatever relationships he had, his team have gone with the players. Whoever's in charge, come in and just go, right, I think these are the best players in each position that we have when they perform. And just go back to basics and just go for that and just see what happens. Really, I think that's all you can do. You just go and you go. If Gomez and Andre don't start, then I think everyone's going to be just lost again. But I think these are the sort of things you have to do. Just go back to what you think your best team has been on paper. Just because someone's a name there and they've not been performing, don't necessarily keep them. I'm thinking of John Arias there straight away. And just do that and just see what you see in training this week and pick the players based on what you know they can do and the ones who actually look like they still want to fight. And that's it. That's all you can do until the new guy comes in.
Harry, one player that won't be available, is out for 4 months, is Rodrigo Gomez. He's had surgery on his groin, and it's a good job he wasn't doing the surgery himself, because he probably would have chopped his own cock off, because he hasn't been able to hit a barn door all season. Who's coming in and going to make a difference?
Chopped his own cock off, and Doherty's out as well, isn't he? He's out for the game. Oh man, I don't know. So on that logic, obviously Agbadou's out as well. We might see Mateus Mane on the bench, especially with it's the under-21s coach and the under-18s coach in it taking care of this game, and who have been taking care of training. Is it James Collins, the one? I'm sorry, we should know their names really.
James Collins and Richard Walker, who is in charge of the under-23s and the under-18s, are taking charge.
Yes. So what's brilliant about this? Obviously, they're going to know who the players are, and they probably walk past them in the corridor and every now and then. That's why I think Mane might make the bench, because obviously they'll know him well from managing the younger sides. But it's almost like a fan going in. It's like when Steve Davis did it, wasn't it? Before Lopetegui come in. And he got that win against Southampton, if you remember, 1-0 at home. I know it's a bit different, Chelsea away. But I hope, like when I think, when did we play our best? Probably second half away at Spurs. And we did switch back. We started with a 4-3-3, but we switched back to a 5. So I would go 5-2-3. You've got to have Andre and João Gomez as the 2 midfielders. I probably wouldn't start Manezzi, I wouldn't. I'd start Tolu. I'd drop Strand Larsen. Not that I don't think they will. This is probably why I'm not a football coach, by the way. I'd drop John Arias. Do you know what? I'd make John Arias to be the kit man for the day or something as punishment for how we've been playing. I wouldn't even have him in the squad and say, "You're kit man today. You carry the water bottles." But then who else do you play? I mean, I know this is mad to say, I probably would start Hwang,
Yeah,
because I thought he did okay. I thought he did. I thought he did okay against Chelsea when he set up Tolu on that one. So I'd have Tolu, Hwang. Fucking hell, I'd probably just go Fair Lopez, sod it on the right of the 3. At the back, you've got Hoover again. He would be the other kit man. He wouldn't be nowhere near it. Hoover. So it's got to be Chachua. Got to be Hugo Bueno on the left. The back 3's got to be Santi, Krejci, and probably Totti, or would you go Mosquera?
Yeah.
I don't know. We've got an own goal. In goal, I'd flip a coin before the game. I'd say Sarr, you pick heads. Johnson, you pick tails. whoever it lands on. I'd pick them as goalkeeper. And then we'd probably go 1-0 down after 5 minutes. So then I'd go 4-2-4 and just throw like all the attackers on and just try and score a goal, then lose about 9-1. So that's how it'd go if I was caretaker manager. So yeah, good luck, James Collins and your mate.
On Rodrigo doing his own surgery, Paul says, is that the Russian coach Kochabalikov? And it could be. Let's do a score prediction, Jack.
Oh, God. 4-1 Chelsea.
4-1 Chelsea. Seems reasonable. Harry?
Don't use 4-1, Jack. That's my score. Well, you two watched us win 4-2 here, didn't you? You was at that game when Cunha got hat-trick. My head's... I've got a feeling we're going to have, as much as I've just took the piss for what I've just said, I've got a feeling we're going to have like a weird bounce and have like a bit of a good performance because they'll be happy Vitor's gone. It always happens. We won't win. So I think we'll lose like 2-1. And we'll do way better than everyone expected because the spotlight will be on us. So yeah, 2-1 to Chelsea.
Harry, I was watching actually your video pre-game Fulham with Jack last week, and we noticed something where you'd said that you were going to score predict with your head and your heart, and you had us to win both times. So I just wondered what that was about. My head says 2-0 Wolves, but my heart says 4-1.
I mean, it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? I was trying to be positive because I've predicted us to lose nearly every game, and I get accused of being way too negative. Do you know what? It's my first ever time at Stamford Bridge, so maybe I've never been before, so maybe we'll win.
It's your last time for a while as well. I can guarantee that.
The last time as well, yeah.
Terrific. Right. Okay. Well, best of luck if you are heading to Stamford Bridge for one of my favourite kickoffs, 8 p.m. on a Saturday. I'll let you know whether I still think that is the case on probably Sunday afternoon, but we will say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Goodbye.
And no one bollock or punch Harry or have a go at him. It's not his fault if you do see him.
Can I?
Goodbye from, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You've earned the right. It's a goodbye from Jack Williams.
Bye.
And it is a goodbye from me. Goodbye.